All right, all right. What is up, guys? It is me, your host, Stormer Show, back for what I imagine to be the final episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And I know what you're thinking. It's about damn time. I might not have the review up until tomorrow on my TikTok, or tomorrow at the earliest, I should say, because it takes me time, as you saw in the final Resident Evil episode, as episode 11. It takes me time to record, and then it also takes me time to post the video. So, it might not make it out for another week or two. Really just depends on my timelines. Assuming, of course, that today is the ultimate episode. Also planning... Uh-oh, can't hear anything. Maybe the volume's just low. There it goes. There. Yeah, the volume on the headphones just got turned down. And you guys can hear me, right? Yeah, I should be able to. Okay, what I was saying is I'll plan on starting a new series today, Resident Evil 4. Okay, Bridge to Turnabout 4-3 trial. Okay, so Dahlia came back from the dead. She was exorcised. I'm still not entirely sure how any of this works. Heat advisory in commerce. It is a cool 91 degrees. Coming from Phoenix is nothing, obviously. Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. The blood test right on the dagger? Yeah, the dagger. Yes, on the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. Totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. It's like the game needs to remind you, because one of the main criticisms I have of this game is that they introduce too many loose ends. And movies and video games both have this problem, where if you introduce too many loose ends and you try wrapping them all up too quickly, the audience gets lost. Like, we don't know what is going on, and I feel like that happens so many times in this game. Because you're like, Maya was trapped in the chamber, Maya attacked Elise Donim, who actually turns out to be Misty Faye, and it's possible that Maya was possessed at the time by the spirit of Dahlia, because Dahlia and she had a altercation after Dahlia herself was summoned. Presumably she was summoned by Misty, which even that was not fully explained. Right? It wasn't fully explained why Misty would summon Dahlia, but apparently she did. And it's like there are just so many confusing scenarios introduced in this game. It's really hard to follow. Like, that's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. Phoenix himself is still in disbelief that Maya would even attack anybody, and I can't say I disagree with him. It doesn't seem like Maya has that in her personality. I'm more apt to believe that Dahlia is actually the one who attacked Misty to get revenge for the whole Morgan Fey bloodline deal. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... I don't see what it would matter. I mean, really the question the court should be asking itself at this point in time is, who actually killed Misty? Was it Dahlia, who it seems like is the case, or was it Maya? And even if it was Dahlia who killed Misty, if Dahlia was possessing Maya, then again, her blood wouldn't be on the scene of the crime anyway. So I don't know what good in this universe blood results do, in a sense. A full test wasn't possible due to time constraints. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood. So it was Maya's. So it's possible Dahlia used it. It's not the victim's blood. Who cares? We already established in the previous episode what the murder weapon was. The murder weapon was the cane, right? Yeah, exactly. The actual weapon used to murder the victim. So we already know, it was already established through this convoluted storyline that the staff, Elise's / Misty's staff, was actually the weapon that was used to murder her. Presumably Maya used it to kill her while possessed by Dahlia, and then her body was swung across the bridge to Iris. Again, it is just so freaking confusing. But yeah, presumably maybe the dagger was used in defense by Misty, I don't know. Who knows? It's still not clear why she wouldn't use her cane that doubled as a sword. Let's restart the trial. Please no. It's gone on long enough. It wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. And whose was it? Maya, I'd say. She was the only other person there, supposedly. The blood doesn't match the victim's. Okay, that's helpful. I mean, it could have been Dahlia's blood for all we know. Since we know now that, of course, Maya came back, I mean, again, there's still so many possibilities. Could have been Maya's blood, could have been Dahlia's blood. I mean, it could have been Iris's blood, too, depending on timing. I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Let me see if I can play it. Hopefully this doesn't get copyrighted. No, it's not. I heard there was a secret chord. No, it's not that. It's hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Is this it?
Wasn't supposed to die.
No, not even close. That is the one I was looking for. Hallelujah. 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 Cue that soundtrack as soon as he says that. I mean, we're already on the third trial after a saga of investigations and trials. Let's actually look that up real quick. Like, how long has this been? Because this has been, like, going on for a while, has it not? Because we had an original series. Okay, so we had 2 days of investigations, 2 preliminary trials, 2 secondary investigations, and now we're on the second series of trials. We're on the third part of the second series of trials. So Bridge to the Turnabout has had, let's see, how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. Yeah, it's been going on for a while. How much is true? I've been suffering today, dude. I woke up, I had a runny nose as all get out. My leg has been itching pretty much the entire day thanks to a black fly. I assume that bit me a couple days ago, like, or was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I've been itching like mad today. And it's on an awkward spot on my leg, like on the back, and so it's not easy to do the hot water treatment like I usually do. I have a blemish that's been healing on my lip. That just made my lip super dry, and so now it's cracked and now it just hurts. My forehead broke out because I wore a hat yesterday to protect myself from the sun. I used a dry bag yesterday to try to keep my phone, keys, and wallet dry while I was doing tubing or like rafting kind of deal. And it wasn't sealed properly, and so everything got wet anyway. Like, I just been having like one of those series in my life where it's like, what the heck is going wrong? I understand, Your Honor. From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. It's Maya. Dude, this has been, like, everyone should be feeling fatigued by this point, not just Maya. Very well. Please bring in the last witness. Maya, post-recovery. Witness, please tell us your name and profession. I mean, if Maya was possessed too, it's possible she wouldn't remember anything. I mean, try to recall the trial that we had in Justice for All with Maya in it. With Maya being the key suspect again. Yeah, I don't think she had any recollection during that episode either. Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright and Company Law Offices. Wow, assistant manager. I did not know that. According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the crane channeling technique. I'm frightened. The Fey clan, I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain that Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Donham's murder. Is this correct? Objection. I mean, again, it's possible she has complete and total amnesia. And I doubt Godot would know. Straighten up this instant, young lady. Like, how are you supposed to tell people what they remember and what they don't remember? You're taking us straight back to the Middle Ages, Godot. You saw someone there. Who did you see? Who did you see? Tell us. Was it Iris? You saw Iris, didn't you? Talk. Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later. She said she can't remember, dude. Pull your head out of your coffee cup, dude. But your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. Godot. Try to recall the time in the previous episode when you basically witnessed a full-on exorcism in the courtroom. Or were you too nose deep in your coffee to remember that? So, like, come on, dude, come on. Like, Dahlia's spirit basically left Maya's body full-on during the trial. Everyone saw that, too. Everyone did. Even freaking Godot with his Power Ranger mask would have had to have seen it. Get it together, Godot. Get it together. There's something you can do. Oh, you can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out and you've seen it squeeze the truth out of them. Again, not necessarily. Depends on what she could have seen while she was being possessed by Dahlia. I have no clue how channeling works. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please. Yes, Your Honor. Let's just get this over with, please. I've got a stuffy nose. I've got another episode after this. And I really just want to get this over with. At the Inner Temple, by the way. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" And something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness. So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been the staff. Maya, the person who hit you, it was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was. I mean, again, like, I don't think she's going to be a reliable witness at all. She was possessed. She was in a fight with Dahlia. We don't really know what happened. Think hard. Unplug my headphones again. Come on. Ah, can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. No kidding. Seems it'll be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Yeah, no kidding. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please bring your cross-examination. Let's go ahead and just waste everyone's time while we're at it, why don't we? Hang in there, Maya. She doesn't look well at all. I mean, yeah, let's go ahead and just waste time with this testimony. Who else was on the inner side temple that night? Inner temple side. Mr. Bikini, of course. You know she was also in Hazakura. I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well. On the day after the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. Did Iris actually come later like she said? Let me think. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired. No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for the training. Who did it? Who hit you? She said she didn't know. She already answered this. She already said that. Good job. I mean, it's possible that knocked her out, too. If she was knocked unconscious, she wouldn't have seen who it was, even if they were in front of her. Can't remember. It's also possible, too, that she had memory loss. Alright, let me check the guide. I just do not want to get penalized for the 20th time. The identity of the attacker was most likely the spirit that was channeled by at least Dahlia Hawthorne. Yeah, no kidding. Very well. Please continue your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head? She stumbled. What happened afterwards? My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think. You think? After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic. There were only two things rolling around in my mind at the time. Well, now, this is beginning to get interesting. So what are the two things rolling around in your mind? My name is Maya Fey, 1 + 1 = 2. For some reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd considering my life was in danger, but that's how it was. That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So what did you do then? I think I screamed, "Help me!" You think you screamed, but you're not sure. Listen, I was getting a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits. I mean, what are you doing out there by yourself, too, with no light source at all? Like, what is the matter with you? I would have sold my ropes, the judge said, empathetically, but again, what would anyone in the right mind be doing out there by themselves? I thought this person might attack me, so I'm sure I screamed. That was my last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff? What? What do you mean by your last hope? No, that's what you said. You said my last hope. I said what? No, you said who? Like you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me!" But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope. Well, you know, that's like, what do you do and call it when that happens? I was not doing well up there. No kidding. Oh yeah, I remember now. I was chasing by a attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at. What did you just say? That's right, it was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. What is it now? I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out. Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person? Maybe it was Iris, maybe it was Dahlia, who knows? I meant to keep that part secret. Just throw her in jail, please. Ah, it takes a ton of pressure to make a knife. That's what I always say. A ton of pressure. You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up to try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to this case. I want you to add it to your testimony. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. Something warm? Sitting there in the snow. Blood got everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. What happened next? I don't remember. You were saved. How do you don't remember that? I haven't got any idea. I don't know what happened at all. That's too bad. Worked side by side with mine for 2 years now. I can tell when she's trying to hide something by how she acts. Right now, I'm absolutely certain she's hiding something. Dude, what is the matter with this game, dude? And I would fire her on the spot, by the way. I'd be like, you know what, Maya, we're through. We're through. You're lying to your boss? Yeah, you're done. You're done. Phone's chirping out again. Pack up your prayer beads and get the heck out of here. Who was this man? I couldn't see. You couldn't see. She's used this excuse twice now. Lantern light isn't very bright. Lantern light, did you say? There's a great big stone lantern in the garden. They always light it when an acolyte is there for training. Yeah, and do you realize your name was written in blood on the lantern? You know what they say, under the lantern, darkness reigns. No one says that, Maya. Like, literally no one says that. I could see the person that's further away, but not my attacker who is closer. And that also doesn't make sense. You'd think it would be the other way around. The person who's further away from you, presumably in the darkness, is unable to be seen. There weren't any other light sources in the garden at the time. Okay, check our little evidence. It wasn't even lit. So let's present that. If we get penalized, I'll just refer to the gag from here on out. Objection! So there was a man standing behind your attacker. Yeah. That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Donut, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother. The killer. Why, you know who killed your mother, don't you? Don't you, sorry, that was a statement. No, it was phrased weirdly, it was still a statement. Like, don't you? You know who it is, don't you? Don't you? And I think even then it should be a question, but it's fine. It's fine. Because don't you is short for do you not. So that's pretty much always a question. Even when it's stated forth as a statement, it's still a question. What does the meaning of this, Miss Wright? I mean, frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and confused. Okay. kidding. I don't even know why we're wasting our time here, but let's keep doing it. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony. What do you mean? What problem? Why, on the night of the crime, the stone lantern was out of commission. But it's true. There's no light anywhere in the garden that night. The game also has a lot of these like cheesy like contradiction moments. Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this. Why is Godot gonna explain it? He didn't make the statement. Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. And of course he's gonna ramble on about coffee because I don't know what he would add to it. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait. Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Tright's words are the milk and you spoon, Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm a spoony bard, I'll have you know. You must have noticed it too, Trey. This witness's mental state is highly unstable. It's not hard to understand why she'd make a little mistake like that. No kidding, she probably suffered a concussion or something. I'm not exactly sure why we're relying on this person's testimony whatsoever. It's amazing she can remember anything, let alone whether or not lights were on. That's not going to cut it. What'd you say? There truly was no light in the garden, and there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. I don't know why we're relying on her testimony in the first place. It's ridiculous. Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, adult or child. And yet, the witness could describe the person that was standing behind her attacker. She quite clearly described him as a man. I mean, really, I don't think anything that's coming out of her mouth makes any sense. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. Also doesn't make sense. How is it you can see someone that's farther away from you when it's dark, but you can't see someone that's close to you when it's dark? Again, that logically does not make sense. Order, what in the world does this mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions? Seems like he is. Objection. Try, do you have any idea what you're proposing? Yeah, just let Phoenix answer, dude. What are you doing? He's digging himself a hole. Let him go ahead and bury himself in it. You know, he made his own bed. Go ahead and let him lie in it. How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene. Objection! There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Like the moon and stars. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And I would say that's a pretty massive assumption to make. She could just be saying that. It's also possible she remembers that it was a man, but not remember who it was. Again, I would let her go ahead and provide the testimony, and then you can make conclusions based on the testimony. Don't go making like wild, fanciful theories like, oh, Maya saw the killer. She knows who the killer was. Because again, she might not remember. And now, yeah, see, this is an assumption. And now you're trying to cover for him. Huge assumption. If I were a lawyer, I would not come anywhere close to making this massive of a mistake. Cover for the man that killed her mother? Why would she cover? There's one conclusion I can draw. You know who the man is. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you. Can this get any cornier? This game is like as corny as Kansas in August. Oh, you talk good game, Tribal. Let's see if you can walk the walk. Dude, he's saying it too. I'm not saying any of this stupid stuff. I actually agree with Godot for once. Like, I don't see how anyone can see anything in the dark, including someone that's farther away from them than the person in front of them. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff. No, Nick, don't. Please. Stop. Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. Can't let him get away with it. He's going down with the dirtbag he is. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court, and I'm here to find the truth. Alright, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who's the person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness? it has to be Lawrence, right? Lawrence of Arabia. Now let's get out. Dude, this makes zero sense. And I feel bad for all the people who present Larry. Although technically he was at Heavenly Hall, so I guess that wouldn't make sense, right? What was Godot doing there, though? That's the real question. Or should I say Armando? Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to easily recognize the killer. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show something like that? It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night. Conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Well, this is... but it can't be. Ah. Okay, come on, dude. That was a nice bit of deduction. Right. Well, everyone. This is the man Maya saw the night of the murder. Go! The murder. Order. Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Stop sipping your coffee and answer the question. Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ah. Because I'm the murderer. You're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? 3 big, glowing, garish red lights. And again, I don't know why anyone's asking her. There would have had to have been some other evidence there linking Godot to the place of the crime. Otherwise, it's... you're up the proverbial creek without a paddle, I'd say. You're relying on testimony that is shaky at best. That's not going to win a trial, by the way. Answer the question. You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya. But the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. I have no clue what she's even saying anymore. Witness, Mr. Wright. Objection. Dr. Chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Alright. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. I would say, can you confirm the identity of the killer? Because if not, the entire testimony should be discounted. We are wasting time asking her 20 questions. Was it a boy? Did the boy have gray hair? Or did he have yellow hair? About how old was the boy? How did you know it was a boy? Like, it's ridiculous, dude. It is actually ridiculous. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but... the killer. Witness testimony. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit and the body was gone. Yeah, because Iris helped to dispose of the body. Which I think she should get, like, the full sentence for that. Whatever the sentence is for accomplice to murder, she should totally get it. All the snow around the stone lantern has been carefully cleaned up, too. I would say Dahlia is guilty of the murder and Iris helped with the cover-up, so both of them should be held responsible. If Dahlia cannot be prosecuted, then Iris totally should. The person did all that work alone. I assume it was a man. No, just 2 psychos. After the crime took place, the witness came to think the killer was a man. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor. No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's really natural that you'd be a little confused. Also, if you can consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. So why would you say it was a man then if you're not sure, though? Again, I'd ask Maya to be more specific. Because it seems like she remembers something, but you have to ask her what she remembers. And if she can't remember, then, there's not much you can go by. Mr. Wright, proceed with the cross-examination. Lost consciousness when you're in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. I think it happened when the victim was stabbed. The person that carried you into the inner temple, it could only have been the killer. That's what I think too. The killer carried Maya into the inner temple. What a harebrained theory too, saying that Godot was the one who was there. I mean, we already know Iris and Dahlia were both there in some form or another. Iris was there, and then Dahlia was there because, I don't know, video game logic. The killer must have done it, right? The killer wasn't you, right? I think so. Why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? It's already been established, by the way, that Iris did. We already know that Iris moved the body. Dahlia and Iris, I believe, moved the body. And we already know Iris moved the body to help cover for her sister and pin the blame on Maya. I know that. I think she's the one who wrote Maya, too. It was either her or Dahlia. One of the two. There's something the killer wanted to hide. I don't know. Looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. The torches were lit and the body was gone. We know. That's how I noticed that the whole scene changed. I want to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. Or if that's true, there's one more thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body? We already know that, dude. It was confirmed in a previous episode. Iris already confessed she moved the body. She revealed the reason she did it was to cover for her sister. Hard to see how that would be even... I don't even know why we're even going through this, as a matter of fact. The only one who would be... Like, all these questions have already been answered. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Very well, let's hear some more about the condition of the crime scene. We've also already seen the crime scene and talked at length about it. You're saying the killer cleaned up the snow. It did look really odd. It was removing the shape around the lantern. There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're really heavy. It's too heavy for me to use. Odd fellow indeed, the killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow anyway? Why would they want to take snow away, he says. Why? Because something was buried there. A lot of the victim's blood sprayed on the snow. The area I collapsed ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I don't know how you'd even do that, but okay. That's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. Okay, tired. I didn't sleep well last night. It's starting to catch up to me. There's something that still bothers me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There's no need to remove that amount. That's true. You could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. I mean, even still, I think you would still find traces of blood. It'd be difficult to impossible to remove all the blood. Looks like there's some mysteries behind this issue. I think this will help explain them. So you're saying you never saw the killer? Correct. Thank you for assuming, Phoenix. And just because someone says something doesn't mean it's true. As an attorney of law, you should understand that better than anyone, really. They might be lying, they might think they're telling the truth and just be mistaken, plain old-fashioned mistaken. You saw a man behind your attacker. She could have made a mistake. But again, you need to make follow-up questions based on that. Why'd you say I was a man? He looked like a man. Where is that Mad TV lady? He looked like a man. Can't do it. You look like a man. That's what she said. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on YouTube. I don't want to get copyright struck again. Copyright struck, I should just say. The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by the pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. For what purpose? Why do all of that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. There's a lot of stuff that went into this. Iris already confessed to it, so I don't know why we're going through this. You lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right? Yes, I think. It happened when the victim was stabbed. The person that carried you to the inner temple could only have been the killer. That's what I think, too. So the killer carried Maria into the inner temple. By the time we got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Torches were lit and the body was gone. All the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. I'm so tired, dude. Shovels are really heavy. Too heavy for me to use. I might take a break before I eat 4. Yeah, I'm like struggling right now. An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away? It could have had something to do with burial. There's one thing I could think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow? Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered. In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. That's the most reasonable explanation. Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. The killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it. There is no need to remove that amount. Did we already read this? I think so. I'm sorry if we're going in circles. I'm just like... Second statement. He said she felt something. They were hiding the evidence for her sake. But why would they write your name on the lantern then? What? Hiding it for you? Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden. She may have thought that you had done it. I mean, anyone would have thought you did it. Your name was written there on the scene of the crime. She definitely would have thought so. And yet we were saying Hazakura Courtyard was the murder scene. That's how many twists and turns have been in this case. We don't even know where the murder occurred or what the murder weapon was. It took 9 freaking episodes for us to establish that, and we still don't know who the killer is. This game, I'm telling you. You're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the scene of the crime to make it look like nothing had happened. Yes, I'm sure of it. They didn't do a very good job, I'll tell you that. It's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony. Yes, Your Honor. Killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. He did it for your sake. And again, that does not make sense based on the evidence that was there on the scene of the crime. If the body and the blood hadn't been removed, I would have immediately been the prime suspect, right? I think you still would have been the prime suspect. Once again, it's established that the murder took place in the garden. If Maya's the only one there, it's established she's probably the murderer. Unless someone else was there. I suppose that's true. If that happened, the body would have caused some of the problems too. If a real identity had become outright then, it would have been terrible. After occurring killed by my own daughter, I don't think Maya would have been able to handle it. Still, it's rather difficult to fathom the killer's motives. The reason is there to go through that much trouble to protect her. The torches were lit and the body was gone. Oh, I'm so tired, dude. I'm like... Yeah, of course, the lantern. Lantern again. Keep presenting the lantern until the cows come home. Body of Elise Doden was carried all the way to the Hasgore Temple courtyard. At the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It's written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. The killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Oh, you're right. Order, order, order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? No, it's not. Maya might be saying that, but we don't know why. And we don't know what she's basing that off of. It doesn't make sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, and not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing. It seemed like it wasn't a well done cover job. If it was a cover job.
Objection!
If that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow? Leave the bloody writing on the lantern. I find it a bit strange that Bikini didn't see... She didn't see Iris approaching with Elise on the snowmobile. That's what seems strange to me. She only saw, I think, Iris pulling the sword out of Misty, Elise. There must be a reason for it. Let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written on the lantern? To pin the crime on Maya, right? Killer didn't notice it. Also being reasonable. This is saying killer didn't notice it. This also doesn't make sense, dude. Let's just pretend, right? Godot's cleaning up the blood. He leaves the writing on the lantern because he can't see it. That does not make sense, however, because he cleaned up all of the blood on the snow. So again, the game's own internal logic is inconsistent. Even the internal logic is inconsistent. It actually doesn't make sense. Earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, what remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The good killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. Dude, this case is so confusing, too. I think Dahlia just kind of confused the heck out of everybody. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. It must mean that they didn't notice it. I mean, who wrote it in the first place? And again, that seems to imply that Dolly was the real murderer, right? Because how is it possible Godot wrote it? You're saying Godot was the killer. If Godot was the killer and he wrote it, wouldn't he remember then? Would he have needed to see it? No. He would have been able to remember that he wrote it and he would have been able to erase it. Otherwise, he intentionally wrote it down to pin the blame on Maya. This game like actually kind of pisses me, like ticks me off, I should say. Like it actually annoys me a great deal because it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Maya. The torches were lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that. You're right. There's no way any normal person would. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. But again, they didn't miss the blood on the snow. Who would that be? And surprisingly, they got all of the blood off the snow. I find that very strange. This is what you said yesterday, and yes, the game will penalize you if you present anyone else. My sight's pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So who wrote Maya on that headstone? Was it Misty? You're saying Godot hit Maya over the head and murdered Misty without either one of them being able to fight back. I find that very strange. Also, we better keep going because we have to figure out what his motive was. You can't see everything. Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern, there's something written on it. Why, it's written in blood. Nonsense. This lantern, as clean as a whistle. Again, how would he have done such a good job cleaning up and missed that? And why would Misty write that down? Like as she lays dying, with her daughter right there. Like it actually doesn't make sense at all. You're saying Misty wrote that down. Something still bothers me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood color stain that's smeared all over the apron. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. Why is he wearing that visor, too? Like, what the heck? You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. I mean, even colorblind people can see textures, by the way. So they would still be able to detect stuff like blood and ketchup and sauce. Like they could tell the difference between something that's solid and something that's liquid, even if they can't see color. Huh. Strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one who can't see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is a murderer. There's no going back. I figured out the truth! This is just like agonizing. I don't know if you can tell, but I am like over this. Completely over this. How far are we into today's episode too? Because it feels like this has been like 3 hours. Okay, about an hour now. The defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Luce Donham, also known as Miss Misty Bay. Also known as Commander Cool. Also known as the Big Lebowski. Also known as Mickey Mouse. Also known as Ronald Swanson. Also known as Homer Simpson. Also known as Peter Griffin. I feel that's like the level I'm on. Hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright is brought up a disquieting fact about... Oh. Again, it's just an accusation. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. Objection! I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. You go on, Troy. I mean, you're saying that he wrote it. But again, if he wrote it, he would remember it. Dude. Someone else wrote it, then. It's probably Iris covering for her sister. As she already explained. The answer is there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow, how so? For example, why'd the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If you wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Why didn't he take out just that area? Ah, could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. So he had to remove all the snow. He couldn't be sure where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Objection! Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see it just fine. I mean, I don't know why the game is also following this trend of like making the key witness fall unconscious. Like, yeah, Maya was just unconscious the entire time her mom was being murdered. And Elise wasn't able to fight back at all. Even though she carries a cane that doubles as a freaking sword. And there is not a scratch on Godot. I find that fantastically impossible. Like, actually impossible. But okay. It seems that once again this trial is taking an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot? Hold it. Wait a minute. I think I left my conscience on your front doorstep. Where's Willow when you need her? Maya. What is it? What is Mr. Godot isn't the killer. It's me. Wouldn't it be great if she said that? He didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up. It actually doesn't make sense to accuse Godot, right? Because yes, it's true he can't see red, but again, he didn't write the name. Because if he wrote the name, he would have been able to remember it, colorblind or not.
Objection!
Objection. Why? Can't testify to something like that. What do you mean? After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. She didn't? I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you senile, old man? We established this a while ago. Through this loop-de-doop of a trial. More twists and turns than any roller coaster. I wouldn't criticize anyone for not knowing what's going on in this case, because again, it is so convoluted and just confusing as heck that, like, I mean, anyone could be confused, really. First, we thought it was Iris was the murderer. Then we said it was her sister Dahlia. Then we said it was Maya possessed by Dahlia. Then we said it was Godot. Like, we've had 4 or 5 suspects in this case. Surprised we didn't accuse Larry. Like, the witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right. Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me. Can you even remember what happened? You plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost. I mean, are you even sure it was Godot, Phoenix, or is this another one of your harebrained theories? That's the case. I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. She's been talking this entire time. I don't know if you realize that, but for the last hour, she's been testifying. Earth to Phoenix. Oh, nicely done, Trey. Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. A little Pearly was there at the Inner Temple, too. After the incident, in his testimony, Pearly was also stuck on the Inner Temple side that night. It was Pearl. Oh, we knew all along. Next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Guido arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. Who is this Pearly? That was my little cousin, Pearl Faye. When did you hear about this? Oh, a while ago. I was in the medical office. I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Well, come on. Pearly wouldn't tell a lie. She's way more honest person than I'll ever be. Just get her off the stand, please. Do whatever you gotta do. Get her off the stand. You know the best things to say when you're under oath. Ha. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness. Mr. Godot. Let's just move on to cross-examination if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but what, Miss Wright? Let's get this cross-examination started. Please, no. That's right, Misty is the one who summoned Dahlia. But that doesn't make sense. How then was Maya channeling Dahlia? So I have no clue, dude. Apparently she just hops from body to the next. See, she searched the entire Inner Temple into ends. Excuse me. I don't know what the heck this case is doing. Like, I am over this already. I don't know if you can tell. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, okay, let's see here. I have to ask about the investigation. Conducted an investigation. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trey. So you didn't find anything at all. That's brilliant. Amazing, actually. I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, it's clear you didn't write it, so that's good for you. Didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Dahlia. Misty Fey, naturally. But in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western taste. So you were there. So why were you saying you weren't there at all? He said he wasn't even at the temple. So was that a lie then? Are you saying you were lying? Could he find a stranger to describe gravy? They're headed to the prep room. You get to say now. I think I found the big swap. Everyone think about your point. Where's the when the murder was taking place? Must have already been at the inner temple. What happened? Unless he couldn't have killed his daughter. Pearl was also stuck in the temple that night, so you're saying Pearl did it then? Brilliant, Maya, brilliant. Scroll on the fourth statement, you say. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready? Here we go. Woo! I'm gonna have to run to the bathroom too, because this is taking forever in a day. I really want to get to RE4 today, if possible. Be right back. Controller became unplugged. There it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. Mr. Godot, the first time he crossed the dusky bridge into Inner Temple. Oh, it was long before the murder took place. Why do you say that? He just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll. But Mr. Godot's right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother. Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. That's 2 days after the murder, too, by the way. The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy. I mean, it would have had to have been like before the body was discovered. Yeah, I don't know. Why gravy, Nick? Gravy is much more than condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Mr. Fay. Wait a minute, Nick. You're gonna look at the hanging scroll. Look at the top. There's a crest there. It's the mark of the master, correct? Exactly, so if you know the meaning of the mark, you can guess there was a picture of Misty Fay on there. true, but Mr. Godot described that what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western taste. I mean... possibly knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing the Japanese clothing. I mean, he could have known it. If he had seen that scroll from before, he could have known it. On the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place. I'm gonna ask you just one little thing, Wright. What is it? The whole theory of yours. I'll rest on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that crime was going to be committed. I mean, not necessarily. You could have been the murderer and still had no idea what was going to happen until the night of the murder. Because if we look at the circumstances of the case, the murder weapon was the staff. Misty's staff. That doesn't seem to me like it was planned or premeditated to me. I'm not exactly a crime scene investigator, but that doesn't seem premeditated to me. So I'm not even entirely sure why Godot was saying this. There's no reason for him to sneak on to the crime scene. Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan. I'm still not sure why Iris would cover for Godot. It's not like they knew each other, right? What'd you say? What'd you say, boy? Is it possible that another person knew that plan? Her, you know, because she hid the body, essentially. It's asking who, right? Dude, this is so confusing, bro. Like, it's saying to present the letter, by the way. Not saying to present a profile, can't present the letter.
Take that!
This plan over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future. Even that entire segment of the story I could have done without too, because it convoluted and confused the crap out of everything. Like, we really didn't need all that Faye stuff and Dahlia and Iris. It just made it one giant confusing mess. So let's just skip all this. I really don't care. Like, it is so dumb, and I really don't care. Godot found out about it from the visit. She's gonna put a 4-year-old up to this, or however old Pearl is. How old is Pearl? 9, okay. You're under fire again. This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you're the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Again, why did Iris cover it up? Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. I think that's why humans drink the darkness of his coffee. Tons and tons of coffee. To get me through this trial. Sorry for asking, but what does that mean? There's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid it in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. He doesn't have to wait for it to occur if he's the one doing it. He can just wait until the time to strike. He ultimately took a person's life. He did all this to protect this witness. Again, who wrote the name then? And why? Why would Misty do that? You're accusing me of this crime, Wright asked. Why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. Just end the case, please. I'm not to rescue Daniel in the street. Okay, who cares, dude? His behavior is certainly extreme for Rockenberg. And considering that the killer wanted to protect his witness's life, his behavior is too unnatural. Objection! You've only been at this for 20 hours, Your Honor. We're not going to give up now. You had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Get Out? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs. I knew it. You figured it out, haven't you, Nick? Our carefully laid plans. You figured it all out, didn't you? You were covering for Godot. Iris was covering for her sister, who was in Misty, but then she passed on to Maya when Misty died. So really she was covering for Maya, so she wrote Maya's name on the lantern. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. I don't know what even the developers were thinking writing the dialogue for this episode. I'm sure at least one of them went, completely insane just writing this. Because it does not follow logical progression at all. Maya Fey is more than a stranger. What's first? There's one person who lies at the very center of the whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Mia Fey.
Take that!
The Elder. Why was Maya Fey's life precious? She's Maya Fey's only sister. Sister. Never knew how much I missed you. Mia Fey. Once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney yourself. Wait a second here. Mr. Godot was a defense attorney? With Your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot is Armando. Diego Armando. That's another thing that I really freaking got peeved about with this game specifically. There are too many pseudonyms and fake names and aliases and alter egos. It is confusing as heck. Elise Donim. Why does she have a fake name? Why does Godot need a fake name? Why does anyone in this need a fake name? Why does Larry need to be Larice? It actually doesn't make sense at all, right? Last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All this is related to a single case. Case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. They were trying to make Dolly out to be the bad guy in this case, too. I don't know what the heck that was even about, dude. So confusing with all the channeling, so confusing. I don't know who could follow this, too. You must be a freaking super genius or just completely off of your rocker to be able to put all these pieces together. I don't know who could follow this. In the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. There's one man who reached out to help her, Diego Armando, senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself. Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. So, what? He said he died. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dolly Althor. Why didn't Dolly get jail time? She did, didn't she? Yeah, she did. Dolly didn't kill me yet, right? I'm pretty sure she didn't. He and I thoroughly investigated the fake kidnapping incident. Not thoroughly enough, because he had to go to trial. One fateful day, Dolly wanted to meet with me. It's been 6 months since the trial we met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah, I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see you coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison in my coffee. The newspapers at the time called it a murder. Why didn't she get jail time for that? Why was the first trial in this game necessary? She was in jail for attempted murder. Very little information about the case was released to the press. You weren't dead at all. He actually said he died, so I don't know. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. So, did you die or not? And if so, how'd you come back? My body shut down. My life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. Lost my sight, and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused. That's terrible. Apparently it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. Did Dahlia write Maya's name then? And it's still, like, here's like the main question underlying all this, right? And I've asked it before too. Why did Dahlia get channeled by Misty? Even after 9 flipping episodes, that question still has not been answered. Five years had passed since I drank that poisoned brew. And why didn't Dahlia get jail time? One morning my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? Worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. The woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha, good old me, she didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. Well, all you have to do is have Maya channel her and you're good to go. There wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up. That's so sad. Someone like me first, someone who had slept away the best days. There were only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? First was you, Wright. Huh? Me. If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her. You let her die. It's all your fault. I mean, I don't even remember what the circumstances were for death. To be honest. It wasn't like that, he says. I want to see for myself what kind of a man you really were. So that's why you became prosecutor. And the reason for living, she goes by the name of Maya Fey. You mean me? You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not having Mia. So really you killed Dahlia a second time. Again, why... I don't know, I need to stop asking questions and just go along with it, because this game is beyond dumb. It is beyond stupid. There is no reason to explain anything. Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Paul's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal is to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from getting caught up in it. That makes sense. Yeah, cut him off at the pass. If Pearls had known the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out. I mean, even Pearl, as young as she is, must have been asking some questions like, why am I doing this? 9 years old is old enough, right, to be asking those kinds of questions. The day the plan was drawing near, I contacted both of my accomplices, Iris of Hazard Temple and Misty Fair. Especially needed their help of Iris. She was to take the fall on my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fair. It's so confusing, dude. Why would Iris agree to cover for Godot? How'd you contact, and why would her mother cover for Godot as well? Dahlia was already dead. Like, this is beyond meaningless. You have to realize that. She'd been missing for almost 20 years, officially, yes. What do you mean, officially? I think I might have to put off RE4 until tomorrow. Sorry, guys. This is just taking way too long. I thought it was going to be like a nice, short, sweet episode, and no, it's been like a complete slog. So, I'm just going to put off RE4 until tomorrow. You know, you'll have to stay tuned. Please be patient as I have been through this episode. Believe me, I'm suffering right there with you guys. It's brutal. It's very brutal. Strong ties between family and government. Yeah, because that applies in this case. He said the Master Crane had great authority, even without her official position. Mr. Fay still wielded great influence. Police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her, because of my position as a prosecutor. I mean, certainly he would have been able to do something other than prevent Pearl from summoning. It's just so confusing. So confusing. And it's all because of that stupid channeling baloney. Like, it's obviously fake. It's made up, and so it creates all these confusing scenarios that would never happen in real life because it's just pure fantasy. She was cooperating with you. Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking. That's why I knew she'd do anything to protect you. She wanted to know how strong her resolve to protect you. Look at her staff. Her staff, the one with the sword. The day the plan was to be carried out right soon enough. We met for the first time at Hazakura. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then just how far she was willing to go. I was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Dude, the channeling thing is just... And the ultimate price. Mother. The night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean Pearls, don't you? You need to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne. Like, channeling is the biggest mistake in this game, in my opinion. Just cut all that fairy tale baloney out, please. In the next Phoenix game, please. And I'm glad it was not an Ace Attorney. I am very glad about that, because it is just so confusing. And such a silly and confusing concept. It's like... No, thank you. No, thank you. Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight? If you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps you can read some books. She didn't want to read no books, I know that. Thought we could prevent her from playing a part in Morgan's plan. She never showed up. She was worried and followed me into the inner temple. That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. I don't know, I'm very surprised that Pearl would try to do it. I don't know why Misty would do this, even still. Like, who thought this was a good idea? She channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. what's amazing too is that neither Pearl nor Maya were able to do anything to stop those. Neither one of them had even the foggiest clue of what was happening. Because of that, Pearl's aunt and Maya's mom is murdered. It just seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Like, Misty Faye's power was supreme. That's how it went down. And we didn't even get one thing this baloney episode that frankly could have been cut into completely from the game. I'd have been totally good with Dahlia coming back, possessing Maya, and then killing Maya's mom. I would have been totally fine with that explanation in theory. They had to do all this Godot's the killer baloney. We really could have done without that. Like, it would have been just fine. We got Dahlia's theme, we got Godot's theme there. We good. Sorry, I should just be mashing into this hole. It's true, my rule in the time is to make sure no one's going to hurt Maya Faye. I'd say you failed. I had myself in her temple, just in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. That's all I'm going to admit to, Wright. There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney, but you're going to have to do the rest yourself. Background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects, Maya, and I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godot. Well, Wright, if you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Just beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own. No, Nick. Please don't. I mean, we've already made the case that it was Godot, dude. Ow. He didn't protect your mom, that's the bottom line. And he let both of your parents die. To me, that seems like he didn't do a good job, whatever he was trying to do. Doesn't absolve him of this crime. Please, Maya, testify. Yes, sir. Your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips. Not anywhere else, Maya, just your lips. I understand. Sure, you're right. I'm ready now, Nick. Alright, young lady, please tell us the moments before you lost consciousness. What happened at the time of the murder? Oh my gosh. Red lights. Okay. We already know how this is gonna end, don't we? Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness. Thought you said you don't remember seeing them. I didn't remember until now, after 5 hours of testimony. They suddenly disappeared. Huh. Things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looks like you could still prove it. But you can't. Looks like you can't. Well, I was telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me. Hour and a half. I don't know why this seems so much longer. Probably because I skipped like a good 10 minutes of dialogue, right?
Hold it!
We depressed the fifth statement. Can't remember the person that was right in front of her. Makes perfect sense. still don't understand, like, Dolly was channeled, Godot kills her to save Maya. I don't even know, dude. You barely make out the shadows. I have no idea what to do. Can you see the red lights you mentioned? Yes, I think so, but red lights went out. The area was dark. They went out. Yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all. What could it mean? Red lights were coming from Godot's mask and they went out right in the middle of the fight. Maybe the mask was damaged, or maybe it was knocked off. Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right? Well, yeah, enlighten us, Godot, please. You were there. Those little red pin-looking lights just stopped working. What could have really happened? I don't know. Well, you never know. What do you mean by just that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out? That's right. The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice. Dude, Maya, how is it possible you don't remember any of this, dude? It's just frustrating. Like, it takes forever and a day because she can't just tell us what happened. We gotta beat around the bush and play 20 questions to try to figure out what happened. Scream came from the killer. And again, we're making an assumption because we don't actually know who the killer was, based on Maya's ambiguous as all get out testimony. This concludes it's it. Something just flew at my face. Sick and tired of bugs. If I never see another bug again, it'll be too soon. Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it, but how did she know there was even a sword in there? She's possessing Elise, right? Elise is a channeler too. She's a master channeler. How did she not know how channeling works? I have no clue. Killer let out screaming in pain. Killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess. We're saying Godot made the kill, though. So he stole it in the first place. He didn't steal it back, he just stole it. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, cool. Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said she had been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim. She couldn't have struck back with a sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. He would have some injury then. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trey. There's only one thing I could think of that could be then used as a weapon here. They're saying Godot was stabbed by a dagger, so why doesn't he have any injuries? If Dahlia Hawthorne had been stabbed in the back by the staff, what could have been used to strike back at the killer? The dagger.
Take that!
The killer was brought by the killer to the scene of the crime. So this kind of doesn't make sense in a way, right? Because it's like Elise has a staff. She gets channeled by Dahlia. Dahlia tries attacking Godot. Godot steals the staff, stabs Dahlia / Misty. And then Dahlia steals his dagger and attacks him with it. I guess. Again, super confusing. This dagger was found at the crime scene stuck into a pine tree. The detective found this morning and brought it to me. Sally Hawthorne struck back the killer with this. She managed to wound him as well. Objection. Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. Again, Godot, fill us in any time. It was you, so just tell us what happened, please. The blood on the dagger could have been from the victim.
Objection!
We know it's not. It was established at the beginning of the episode. This also may or may not be true, by the way. It was only confirmed that it was not the victim's blood. So in a sense, Phoenix is jumping to conclusions yet again. It must be the killer's blood. No. It was only established that it's not the victim's blood, so it could literally be anyone else. It could have been Maya's blood, for all we know. Playing out these fake scenarios and then Phoenix gets carried away with his theories. Killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. Saying the blood on his dagger belongs to the killer. Exactly. The DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Charlie. It's Wright. He might be blind, he might be using a Power Ranger mask, but he could still get my name right. Order in the court. This is the end. Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the result of a scientific test. Let me ask you something. Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think I'd be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? I mean, it does seem like a very strange crime scene, right? The name is written on the lantern, the dagger is there, the body isn't, the staff isn't. There are so many moving bits and pieces in this case. Think for a second. Try something new. Right. Think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There's already blood on it, correct? But even so, it was the one who brought this dagger. I was the one who brought it here to the courtroom. Yes. What does that prove? If I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it. I mean, again, right? It could have been anyone's blood. The test itself wasn't definitive. It was not definitive, so you cannot make conclusive statements based on that. You can only posit possibilities that blood doesn't belong to me. Again, you'd have to test it again to figure out whose blood it was. It's only confirmed that it's not the victim's blood. This trial has been the biggest waste of time. This specific episode is like just really getting on my nerves. It seems to be established that the killer was wounded. Wait a minute, what's the problem? I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation. Oh yeah? This dagger, you said that it wounded the killer. Again, that is a baseless assumption. That's right. But Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger. His clothes should be bloodier ever ripping them, right? He would have some injury, if that were the case. Maybe he just changed his clothes. That'd solve the contradiction pretty easily. I mean, depending on where he was stabbed, he would also probably be in the hospital. I'd say if he was stabbed like anywhere in the chest region, chest, abdomen, he probably is going to be in the hospital, probably. If he was stabbed in the leg, not so much, but I mean, who knows? Okay, he changed his clothes. Not that simple. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side got trapped there. That's right. I mean, it's been so long, I don't know how anyone could remember that. Once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for inner temple, Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. Oh, sorry, that's Maya. Never had a chance to change his clothes. Order in court. What says is true? Objection! Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? Did the judge take smart pills during the last recess? No, just common sense pills, Phoenix. Maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. I mean, it seems like such a harebrained theory, even for Phoenix, that Godot did it. You wouldn't get any blood on them. Objection. That's impossible, Trey. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. That's all you got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Toughness had nothing to do with it. It's like just simple stamina. And being able to read absurd amounts of dialogue. If Mia Fey were here. Mia Fey. Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. Come on, Trey. Can you do it or not? I'd say Phoenix has a pretty clear idea in his mind of who did it without enough evidence to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? You accuse Mr. Godot of being the killer. Can you prove it? Have you gotten even one piece of evidence? I feel like we've been dancing around it this entire time. If he was going to prove it, he should have done it by now. We're going on 2 hours here. Yeah, we're going on 2 hours. The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. Who's even the lead suspect at this point? Because Iris is an accomplice. That's been established. It's taught that's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. You're going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition just as you want it. Oh, that's good. Fighter till the bitter end, Shark. There's just one piece of evidence that can prove the point. Why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You've got nothing, Trey. What do I do at a time like this? Simple. Think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you got. There's one thing I demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. What did you say? Hidden? This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. You're saying he was stabbed in, like, the head? Dude, again. How did he get out of that without hospital time? Because if you get stabbed, like, anywhere up here... Yeah, that... I mean, that's potentially life-threatening. Perhaps it is. I mean, getting stabbed, like, in the temple, People have actually full-on died from that. Okay. But anyway, for you to say that he's just hiding it under his mask, I mean, come on now. I don't think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. And dude, if he was stabbed in the eyes, there would be blood everywhere, including on his clothes. Are they gonna say that the visor, dude? Present his profile. This game is so stupid, I'm sorry. Frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Wright? What was that just now? Yup. Can't be. You're living on through him. Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. Beneath your mask. Dude, this game is such a pile baloney, dude. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. The killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Oh. And dude, I am sorry. You'd be in the hospital, there would be blood on your clothes. You would not be able to hide it with just a mask, dude, if you got stabbed in the head like that. I saw a spirit in you just now. I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let me die. Yeah, we get it, dude. You've already said that 20 times. You didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. I can never forgive you. That's what I thought. Mr. Godot, I was wrong about you. I knew from the beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. Yourself? I was the one that failed to protect me and no one else. Try to avert my eyes from the truth. Yeah, so, you're just gonna kill her mom. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Escape from the harshness of reality. I couldn't face me as death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask. I threw away my true name. Didn't even deal being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. You saved Maya. That was my plan. Up until just now, anyway. What do you mean? Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, but there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away. Who would that be? You talking about Nick? I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. Close my eyes to the most important man involved. You know why, the real reason. I wouldn't say Phoenix is the most important person, by the way. I would say the deceased is probably the most important person. You know why, the real reason. No, why? I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all. And again, who wrote Maya on the lantern? I know I would keep asking that, but that's because the game has not answered that. Just trying to salvage what's left of my broken soul. If he wrote it, he would have remembered to erase it. He wasn't trying to implicate Maya. Maybe Iris wrote it. I guess, that's possible. She was already hiding the body. Trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation I knew was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. Put your life on the line to save mine. Was it really for my sake? Even I'm not really sure. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden when I saw her silhouette. Part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye or even that little girl. Seriously, the fact of the matter is, you killed Maya's mom. And Mia's mom. That's the fact of the matter. It was like I was dreaming. Not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who'd stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Also not true. I mean, if you died, you could say that. But he didn't actually die. That was clarified in this episode. He lost his vision only. I wouldn't call that everything, but that definitely is significant. But again, that's kind of on you for drinking the coffee in the first place. You could argue that wasn't even entirely her fault. I mean, she did poison the coffee, but you drank it. So really, it's like a split deal. Your fault for drinking it and her fault for poisoning it. So, yeah. Could have been a desire for revenge. Yeah, maybe. But you can't kill a ghost. Like, the whole thing does not make any sense. You're like, we'll bring her back from the dead, I'll kill her, and then I'll have my revenge. But she's already dead, so... And now I don't know anything anymore. Yeah, thank you for bringing on the theme, but it's a little bit too late for that. You should have brought it on about an hour ago. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. A stupid fantasy defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. In that one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando. We already established that 20 minutes ago. And perhaps most of us already knew that, because you look the exact same, with the mask on. Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me. And sure, yeah, now he bleeds. Okay, sure. We've had like 20 hours of trials, and now he's bleeding. Multiple days of trials, and now he starts to bleed. And yeah, again, if he were stabbed anywhere up there, there would be blood all over his clothes. Like, all over. And, I mean, who knows? Depending on how deep the knife goes, I mean, maybe even brain damage, potentially death. Your wound, it's bleeding. Ah, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears. Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment. Armando, you do well to remember this, Maya. This dude killed your mom, by the way. So why is she trying to protect him? You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time the lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time it really is all over. Defendant. Yes, Your Honor. Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself. I understand, Your Honor. Yeah, why did you do that? Keep in mind she did this for Diego Armando, so really what was that relationship? Because that is not explored in this game at all. Her true motive for doing all that stuff is not established. Like, why would she do that? And why would Misty agree to work with him anyway? Did they even know him? Guess the world may never know. He's ready to go to jail for, what's it called? Being an accomplice to murder. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I was willing to cooperate anyway. Again, it makes zero sense. It is not established why she would do that. Very well, before I hand down my verdict, is there anything else you'd like to say? Here's one thing I'd like to say to Mr. Wright. I want to apologize to you. For what? For the case 5 years ago, of course. So good, I love that theme. The themes almost make up for how much crap was in this episode. Case 5 years ago. Where was she when all that was happening? I just remember. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Wait. Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me. She killed her other boyfriend instead. No, that's surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other. I mean, I guess that's true. You and my sister, you only met twice. Huh? We only met twice? First time you met was on that fateful day. I thought they were dating or something. What the day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria in this very courthouse. Next time you met her was 8 months later. That doesn't seem right, because Phoenix was on trial for murder, as you remember. How did that even happen if they only met twice? Doesn't exactly make sense, right? Anyway, you met her again on the day that she stole the cold medicine. Doug Swallow was killed. Okay, he's saying it can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were... For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dolly Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister. Oh, she's gonna say it was her? What a twist, dude. What a twist. I mean, I guess you could say, you know, you saw it coming. I personally didn't see it coming. I thought they were the same person, actually, when I first saw her. I hope one day you can forgive me, Feeny. Dude, the theme is so good. The theme is like the most amazing thing about the game. Okay. You mean he was really dating Dahlia's sister? And anyway, she... again... He did not recognize her. I don't know if you guys remember that. He did not recognize her. If they've been dating for 8 months, how is it possible you don't recognize her? I mean, unless she dyed her hair, but even then, you'd still recognize her. This song is so good, dude. I lied to you for 8 months. Why? Why would you do such a thing? Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance. She couldn't move about freely. So she was posing as her sister then. Why wouldn't she admit it? She admit that the necklace was filled with poison, the phoenix. I don't know, it's so confusing. That's why you... My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst. Prepared for the worst? Yeah, prepared for the worst. She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice. So... you were... yeah, it's not clear what you're doing, actually. You weren't trying to protect Phoenix. And your sister knew about it. She would have had to. She's ready to kill me, don't you? She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance. That's why you came to me. You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in the first place, in her place. But I couldn't get you to give it back. He would have thought it was Dahlia, though, at the time. I built something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that it happened. That was a bit strange, wasn't it? So good. Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you. I'm just glad they're playing this theme throughout all of this. It really is that good. My feelings for you, she says. I had found out she was planning to kill you. I mean, again, why didn't Iris just tell him that it's a necklace filled with poison? I assume if she really cared about Phoenix, she would have said that to him. I'd have done whatever was necessary to stop her. I mean, also not true. You didn't know your sister was planning on poisoning your then boyfriend, so... even if it meant her life or mine. After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed. I have something to say to you too. Yes? Goodbye! Have fun in jail for being an accomplice to murder. I wish Phoenix would say that. But no, you know he's going to say some stupid kissy goo goo crap. You're the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you. He did not know who she was, dude. He did not know who she was, somehow, even though they dated for 8 months. He did not recognize her at first. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I do remember that. How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though, right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright? Yeah, I think you're right. Have fun in jail, guys. The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Stark. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case. I understand. Let's just, judge, jury, and executioner this. Sentence Godot for murder. Sentence her as an accomplice. Done. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Okay, great. I'm glad we could waste all that time. Court is now adjourned. February 10th, 4:51 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 1. It's over. Everything ended. Was justice really served? The man who risked his life to save mine is being sent to prison by my own hands. Of course justice was served, Mia says. Mia, why do you keep possessing Pearl out of nowhere? Like, am I the only one who finds this just strange? I mean, yes, I find Mia more physically attractive as an anime character, whatever they call it, waifu, than Pearl. I mean, I'll definitely go with Mia. But I think it's strange. I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. I mean, you saved Maya, right? I mean, really, not really, but yeah, you could say you did. The man who cared so deeply for you, you're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. With that verdict. I think one day you'll understand, too. I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more that you can learn from me. Mia, you've accomplished something I wasn't able to. Dude, voice acting would have gone so far in this game, dude. It would have gone so far. Just because there's so much dialogue. It's like, geez Louise. And you mean to tell me that they could do dialogue, they could do, voiceovers for a game like Disco Elysium, but they couldn't do it for this game? Really? I don't buy it. I mean, I view it as like simple budget cutting at the expense of the game, to be blunt. And I'll probably say that in my review too. I owe you a great deal, thank you. Like, it really sucks that I do all the dialogue in this game. And I obviously skipped some, because I ain't got the patience for that. I'm sure we'll meet again someday, Phoenix. What are you talking about, man? We meet all the time. You are constantly possessing both Maya and Pearl. Out of the blue, it seems. I've handled lots of cases and seen a lot of things. Along this journey, I found myself asking one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? Like, no one's truly dead in the game, because they can just keep coming back with the channeling system. Excuse me. Today's case produced one possible answer. Nick. Maya, it's Phoenix. Both you and that Nimrod Godot need to get it through your thick skulls. My name is Phoenix Wright. Just like my sis said, Mia, what'd she say? She was just here. Did you miss her? She was possessing Pearl. I don't know if you caught her. That night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry. Phoenix will save everyone in the end. Come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see me, sis? And I'm sure Iris too? We owe you for everything you've done for us now. Maya, how? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Youch. Francisca. Still as softy as always, Phoenix Wright. Edgeworth, excellent work, Wright. Edgeworth, when did you get back? Squilliam Bancy, son! I always think of Squilliam when I see Edgeworth. Guess that no one fills her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me. Helping you? No, helping me. On the last day of the investigation, as well as the previous trial, Edgeworth stood in my place. These two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial. The defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere. Wow, but where were you, Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught the nasty cold which forced him to sleep all day. Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head. Ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Thank you, Edgeworth. And you too, Francesca. I don't suppose. There's room for me in this group hug, is there? Larry! It's always the butts, isn't it, Larry? What's with the longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of use to anyone, not even once. That's not true, right, Nick? Well, you're asking me. Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Yeah, you've certainly got a place in the peanut gallery. I knew everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No, I mean, yeah. Those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? Me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Please stop calling that. Yes, indeed, I certainly can say that they lack resemblance. Do you mean it? What about you, Francie? Did I draw you well too? My beauty can't possibly be captured by mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something. You'll do what you promised? What does he mean? You're going to model? Ah! Don't get carried away. Sorry I missed it, went by too fast. How about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting Pearl was pretty darn good too. I don't know why the game flips like the dialogue by like that. Like I didn't even push the A button, it just flips by. I haven't seen her around. Bro, where could she have gone? You just saw her. She possessed... Yeah, whatever. She would have made a beeline for Maya. Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. She was just here. In the form of Mia. Pearly! Right. Seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you're wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that's happened. How about this badge? To be honest, I can't understand it either. Francesca, that's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. He's in jail, I believe. Manfred von Karma. I think I understand how she feels. Maya's a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now it's exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can. What do you mean by now is exactly the time? I wasn't the only one who was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya's trying her best not to cry. Someone who's hurt more deeply than Maya, Edgeworth. I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Then tell me if he's right. Who is Maya being strong for? Is it Pearl? I guess. Pearl Faye. Poor kid, after all. The reason she worked so hard to follow the instructions is because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. Maya's aunt, strangely. For the good of the Faye clan, I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. He's a 9-year-old without any logic or reason. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. Cool. It's a cool irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. No, I would say it's more her naivete. Her naivete and flat-out ignorance that caused all this. Maya Faye's mother was killed and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. They're essentially summoning a psychotic murderess. Like, I don't think any of them knew what they were doing. Like, you know what comes to mind? Like, what was that? There was like the Nicolas Cage movie, right? What was that movie called? Maybe it wasn't Nicolas Cage. Maybe I'm misremembering it. I guess Men in Black comes to mind too. The scene where the farmer gets turned into a human suit, and I guess Silence of the Lambs for that matter. Like, anyway, we're gonna keep moving on. Yeah. Gumshoe, okay. Hey, this is where you all work. 20 hours isn't long enough. Ouch! What'd that boy say? Sorry about that, Scruffy. The work just seems to have a mind of its own. What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. I saw you just sort of kind of got down by a teeny-weeny bit, but it's alright. Your reservations at a first-class restaurant tonight. Good work, Mr. Scruffy. I hope you deserve a reward. Detective Gumshoe? You said a first-class restaurant. You don't mean... Tribute, where else? I knew it. We're doomed. I'm actually surprised. I think that dude got jail time too. The chef for being accomplice to murder in that case as well. Because you have to remember, he hid the body. Yeah. He hid the body, correct. Take you back away, pal. There's gonna be like no chef. The restaurant's probably closed. You have to remember, Maggie Bird's probably the only person working there. You're about it too, crybaby. Forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes. Maya's taking awfully a long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. And a lot of oysters. Maya, what's wrong? Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, can't find her anywhere. You just said she's at the shack, dude. What about go? That's all. Thought so too, so I called the village, but no one has heard from her. This has never happened before. As I figured, we've been badly hurt by this incident. I feel like I need that like sign from Dave Chappelle, like wrap it up or whatever it's called. Wrap it up. Excuse me. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya. But none of this was her fault. What should I do? Detective Gumshoe. What is it, pal? Could you guys go on ahead? Well, what about you? Maya and I will, join you guys once we find pearls. Nick, why are you roping me into this? Don't worry about us, Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. Sight. Got a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the worlds. Yeah, but you're, Very well, please, tonight. Go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? You won't. Where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone? Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of pearls might have gone to. The loser shack. Heavenly Hall. We already knew. Larry the Blab said it. Hazakura Temple for pearls. I bet this is a very important place. It's where the whole incident started. What's this? You're all back again so soon? Sister Bikini. I'll be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. Nope, no potatoes. She's here. Pearlie's here. She's in the trainer hall. Don't you go her along, go see her. Okay. Pearlie's not here. Maya, the hanging scroll. Someone clean it off. Gotta be pearls. Mystic Maya. Mystic Pearl. Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya. Isn't she a little bit old to be crying? She's 9 years old now. I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's my fault, Mystic Maya's mother. That's why you came here? The least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearl. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. First, I'm sad that my mother is gone. How do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really, it's true. The only reason I'm still here is that thanks to everyone who's there for me. Is this my mother, Mr. Armando Nick? Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen. And you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't be alive right now. God, wrap it up. Jeez Louise. For all the people that were there when I needed them, that's all I can really do. Mystic Maya, I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Oh heavens, Lord. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. For dishonoring the good name of Korean, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya's always in my thoughts. Yeah, how could you not be there for your kids? What the heck is wrong with you? It's true, she'll always be with me until the day I die. Mia died and you were nowhere to be found? The spirit was with her, that's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? No. There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? To never take the charm off until the day you die. That's a master talisman. The thing that Misty kept by her heart would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important, rather it was the contents. That's a photo. Mother. Father. Sister. Brother. It's really natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. What makes us human is that we fight for others. Who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? When do you fight and how do you fight? That's the true measure of what a human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Even when the battle is over, the bonds that connect us are severed. We always return time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother too. Why are they putting the vase back together? That doesn't make sense. Pearls is the one who broke the vase. Yeah, Pearls broke it, not Maya, not Mia. Or whatever, dude. All of them. I learned it. Okay, dude. I mean, unless that's Pearl. Shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. It doesn't look like Pearl. This is the day to remember, a day when a lot of things are finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today. But I still can't. Go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime. Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. I know, but I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for the three of you when you come back. Yeah? Oh ho ho, hee hee. Alright, we're gonna have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance, that's why. Okay, Mystic Maya, I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight too. You know, there's one thing I don't get. Probably don't want to, but what is it, man? Reservations for training is fine and all, but why for three? Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us. Huh? I'll be waiting for you. Tiger. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. It'll be great, Nick. We're gonna do the special course naturally. Oh, that's a great idea after all, Mr. Nick. You'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? Even get bothered by an old lady. We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time, right, Nick? You know, I was wondering if I could say just one more thing. Oh yeah, we've just been talking for hours. I mean, I don't know why you'd even ask at this point. Getting goosebumps. Well then, here goes nothing.
Objection!
Objection! Ah. We made it. Alrighty, guys. Okay, does the credits play the same thing again? Just curious. Oh, this is the credits for all the games. It's not really what I wanted. And yeah, it's Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. I said Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. I'll probably repeat the title. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Yeah. Something I'm going to highlight in my review just to give you guys a sneak peek. And I know you guys can't see me, I'm in the actual darkness. Is, and you know what, I could turn on the lights, fine. That button keeps getting stuck. The button for the ceiling light. So here are the strengths of the game, right? Characters. The characters are creative, unique, at times funny, and very memorable. Even though there are so many, sometimes I tend to forget. But the music in this game is phenomenal, and it worked. And I'll probably say that in the review as well. I think I've said it time and time again, but what I loved the most about Trials and Tribulations were those two themes. Godot's theme, which is dark. Something else I wanted to verify on this episode before I wrap up is that Phoenix didn't actually recognize Iris. I wanted to confirm that. As I recall, he wasn't able to remember her, but I just want to confirm that. And maybe I can read it in the wiki, just so I don't have to look it up on my stream. You could look it up on my show, by the way. It's probably going to be the first investigation, or second investigation of part 4. Can't remember. Bridge to Turnabout. I believe it would have been episode 11 or something like that. Which episode are we on? 22? 12? Yeah, I don't know. I lose track. Yeah. If you go through my episodes, you'll see. Yeah, I like Godot's theme, the Taste of Dark Coffee, and Dahlia's theme, which I believe is called Distant Traces of Beauty, I think. Like, so good. Those two songs were like my favorite thing about the game, hands down. And I'm even going to advocate in my review for people to actually look up the songs. Like, do look them up. They are super good. You will not be disappointed. Honorable mention is Victor Kudo's thing from this. And on to the bad. The good and the bad, right? You gotta take the good with the bad. The bad of the game. The game is tediously wordy. And as I would describe it, very, very dialogue intensive. Now, this game does not have voice acting. And a comparison I'll make, again, is Disco Elysium. And I feel like it does take away significantly from the overall gameplay experience. Like, you'll be reading and reading and reading, and it just gets tiresome. Like, I'm trying to think of the best word to describe it. Like, it gets exhausting reading through all those lines. And something else that I would say that I also view as I'll just have the music playing in the background while I'm talking to you guys. I won't start RE4 until tomorrow, of course. It's already like past 10 o'clock here, and I'm trying to get to bed earlier and earlier. We're halfway through the month of July 17th. And I believe the school year is going to start up again on August, I believe the first week of August, whenever that is. I think August 2nd or 3rd. Gotta check the calendar. I believe it's the second week of August. August 8th, if I remember. So, the point I'm trying to make is that I'm trying to get to bed earlier to reacclimate myself, because I've been waking up at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, noon. That is not gonna fly during the school year. And of course I could try to counterbalance that by drinking coffee myself. Even though what tends to happen is I'll have like a spike of energy in the morning from the coffee, and then like I'll eat lunch. And what happens is like my energy goes like this. I start crashing like right around like 4:30. Sometimes earlier than that, sometimes like 2:30. I have to be like extremely careful because I will doze off. I've had students like tap me on the shoulder because they see and I fall asleep at school. Luckily, I have very nice bosses, I'll put it that way, because there are some bosses that would straight up fire you on the spot for falling asleep on the job. But I've talked to my boss before about my sleeping problem. I just can't get sleep early. And my natural sleep cycle, I think, is like midnight to 10, or like 2 a.m. to about noon. Like that's like my like natural sleep cycle. And so like if I wake up at like 6 or 7, it starts to create like an additive effect, like a cumulative deficit is how I would put it, where like my body increasingly gets tired throughout the week. And yeah, sometimes I'll get drowsy as I'm driving home too. I've talked to my boss about that too. Luckily I haven't been in any accidents. But yeah, I'm very fortunate to still have a job. I'm very fortunate that I haven't hurt anybody with my sleeping problem. Because that would be bad, very bad. But yeah, I try to drink a cup of coffee in the morning. I'll probably try to start drinking coffee in the afternoon to offset that. Yeah, speaking of coffee, and something else I would say as a critique of the game before we wrap up here, the storylines. Something I'll say in my review is that the storylines are very complex, convoluted, and confusing. And I believe that they are intentionally so to promote the problem solving and the puzzle solving of the player. But a disadvantage of that is that it makes the trials difficult to follow through the different segments, and it does take you out of the experience somewhat because you're asking questions like what, why, how is that possible, or why would that happen? And so the more reasonable you are, I think the more faults you'll find with this game. In spite of those drawbacks, I'd still say that this is a good experience. I would recommend getting the trilogy, if only for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And I'd say the 3 games on the whole have been a good experience. I think Trials and Tribulations, though, was the weakest of the 3, I think. And if you can't afford the game, I would again just recommend checking out those 2 songs on YouTube, Godot's theme and Dahlia's theme. Because I think those were the best things about the game. Easily. Yeah. Anyway, as I said, we would look it up and see if Phoenix could not recognize Iris when he first saw her. And I believe he could not. So we're on investigation day 1 now. So you first meet Iris in the training hall. You finally meet Iris, and it looks like she recognizes you somehow. She'll leave before you could say anything, though. So she recognizes you, just not the other way around. So you actually meet Misty before the murder even occurs. Which I didn't recall. I might have to open the episode. Okay, so let me read through this real quick. Main gate. So this is investigation day 1. And I'm reading from the walkthrough that I've been following. Upon arriving, you'll meet one of the nuns who called herself Bikini. This is on day 1 of Bridge to the Turnabout. She doesn't seem very serious about the dangers of the place and likes to laugh a lot, probably the happiest nun of the game. Talk to Bikini. She talks about the channeling dojo and the other nun. Okay, so you do recognize from the promotional picture she does look like Dahlia. How is she out there? Bikini will say this is a spiritual training ground. The special training course is where the medium sits on a block of ice. But the other nun, the familiar looking girl in the photo, is named Iris, according to Bikini. He's currently preparing the inner temple, but Bikini recommends that you check out the main hall first. So he recognizes that she looks like Dahlia. He does. So maybe he was thinking what I was thinking at the time, that she was just Dahlia undercover. I don't buy, what I don't buy is Phoenix's whole reaction. Did Phoenix talk to Iris at all during the first day? No, he doesn't. Oh, you run to Iris, who calls your name. Talk to Iris. Iris says she's been raised here as a child and spent time in the city. No psychologists here, so how does she know you? Iris will say she hates the idea of spirit channeling. As she leaves, but before she does, she calls your name and gives you her hood, which is said to protect you from evil spirits. The hood's added to the court record. Before she leaves, you call it to her, saying you don't remember introducing yourself to her. You ask her if you met before. Iris gives out 5 psych locks. She'll then leave to ring bells, so you didn't have a chance to break those locks. Of course. I don't know if this is a reasonable... Here, I'll close this so you can hear me. I don't know if that is a reasonable response. Because if he had dated someone who looks exactly like her... Apparently that's bugged out. Okay. The audio. If he was dating someone that looks just like her, he would say that, like, we met before. We were seeing each other when I was in college. Do you remember that? And if she doesn't admit to it, it could cause confusion on Phoenix's part. Yeah. I guess it's kind of sad that the game didn't give you a chance to present the Magitama, or whatever it's called. Have we met before? I don't know. It seems kind of weird because, again, they dated for 8 months, so he definitely would recognize her as she would recognize him. I guess I just find it strange that he wouldn't know that Dahlia had a twin sister. I don't know. I guess stranger things happen. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been Phoenix. I got to go, including to the bathroom. So thanks for following the series. Thanks for all the likes, comments, shares, and subscribes that I will get. Oh, I know this was a long one. I know we're pushing 3 hours. These were some lengthy episodes, but again, part of the reason for that, and the main reason for that, is because of the mountain of dialogue and how lengthy the trials are in general. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the show for more great content. And as I said, I am expected to release the first episode to start a new series tomorrow, Resident Evil 4. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching, folks. This has been Stormer Show signing off for another one. Hope you